Welcome to How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy, the stories behind the people driving results in the nonprofit sector.
We particularly focus in two areas there. One is the sort of mid-level donors and one is plan giving. And the reason we're focusing a lot of our attention there is I think they're both places where organizations are not investing enough and leaving money on the table. And because we do messaging and we've often been asked to do specialized messaging for those groups because they are important groups, sort of naturally evolved that we're now doing more consulting around those areas as well.
Hi there. Welcome to How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy. I'm Tim Chatton, Marketing Solutionist at MarketSmart. Today in the show is Kathy Swayze, President and Creative Director of Impact Communications, found at impactdc.com. Kathy has built a successful consultancy that now includes a strong staff of writers and creative personnel. On today's show, we'll learn the importance of specialization and about some of the tools used to run a consultancy with a staff. Here's my interview with Kathy Swayze at impactdc.com. I'm here today with Kathy Swayze of Impact Communications. Welcome, Kathy.
Glad to be here.
It's good to have you on the show. I was looking into a bit of your background in Impact. It looks like Impact's been running for about 19 years now. Is that right?
Yeah, hard to believe some days.
Right, yeah. So tell me a little bit about your background. What got you into being a fundraising consultant and what was your trajectory like?
So I started out after college just knowing that I wanted to work for good causes and make change in the world. And so I got a job as telemarketer and started raising money by phone and just got promoted through that company and then led to other opportunities to work with nonprofit organizations. And then in 1998, I decided to start my own shop and do more because I really felt that a lot of the organizations we worked with were just doing such great work, but not doing a very good job of telling their stories. And I felt I could help them raise more money if they could get better at that storytelling piece.
Great. And was it a certain cause that really got you into it, or was it just general, you wanted to see the world a better place?
There's a lot of causes that are near and dear to my heart. I was in college at the time of the nuclear freeze movement, when thought a lot about whether the United States and Russia would blow each other up with nuclear bombs. And we don't worry about that as much anymore, although I think it's still a problem. So I think that might have been a tipping point issue for me, sort of understanding a lot of the social justice and social change issues that we work on today.
Yeah. And I was looking over your website, that's impactdc.com, and you mentioned the storytelling component, and that seems to be a huge part of what your consultancy does and I guess focuses on, right? You brought in Meg Roberts to help expand with that, is that right?
Yeah, so basically we've always had storytelling and fundraising communications at the heart of everything we do, whether it's from a direct mail letter all the way up to talking with your very best leadership donors. So we do an awful lot of writing and messaging, but a few years ago we brought on Meg Roberts to head up our plan giving marketing division because we know that's such a huge growth opportunity for so many of our clients and other nonprofits that are just not having access to the best marketing advice about how to get to those best prospects. So that's where Meg comes in, and that has been wildly successful, combining our experience in direct marketing fundraising with the plan giving and getting really terrific results for our clients.
So before Meg, was it major gifts or is it more of trying to get a bunch of the small donations?
It was really all of that.
Okay.
I mean, we did a lot in the very earliest days of Impact. We did a lot of direct marketing, copy, direct mail, email, but we had already started even before I brought Meg on to go up the donor pyramid. And really now we write and consult on communications and strategy across the whole donor pyramid, from $10 donors to $1 million donors.
Yeah. So it's grown in these 19 years. What was it like at the beginning for you? Was it a single person shop, or did you always have someone working with you?
Yeah, it was just me in my living room in the beginning in a desk that I didn't have an extra office, so it was me and my desk in my living room. But I did hire someone part-time, not too far in, probably about a year and a half in, to help with some of the administrative stuff. And now we have 7 employees total.
Oh, fantastic. As far as the writing, is that been a passion of yours, writing and telling stories, or is that something that you grew into?
I think my passion for writing grew out of my passion for making a difference, because I really, really saw that this was an area that I had a skill set in and that so many organizations really seem to need help in. So it was a kind of combination of my passion for change and my passion for good writing and good messaging. Anybody can write something that sounds nice, but having the skill to write something that both sounds nice and gets results, that's a whole different thing.
Gotcha. And how did you end up taking the leap to starting your consultancy? Did you wait until you had a couple clients, or were you in a financial place where you had some savings where you could wait and build that up while you were in the early phases?
I was not nearly that organized. I was very fortunate in that my first foray into consulting, I was invited by another woman who already had her own consulting business, Ann Herzog, to join her because she had kind of realized that she was getting tired of just talking to herself and thought she would like to grow her consultancy to be a full business. So she brought me on at a partner level and to join her in her business. So it was in some ways easier in that there was a floor, but I have to say the floor was quite a few levels down from where the floor I had been at in my last job. So
you joined her, and then eventually you split off and started your own.
Exactly.
Okay,
we worked together for about 5 years, and then I was having so much good feedback from clients around the writing piece and the storytelling, and she wanted to go more into the full service consulting. So I spun off to do just the fundraising communications piece, focus more there.
Okay. And you were able to bring clients you had established at the other consultancy with you?
Yeah, I was able to bring a couple of them with me. I mean, not that many, but I will say that I have to be prepared a little bit unless you are very good at saving, which I'm not. You have to be prepared for some lean years in the very beginning. But if you're passionate about making it happen, you can. So I did have to build it up over time.
Okay. And I was looking through the website. The blog seems to be very active. Since April 2012, you've been posting to it. You have this Words of Wednesday wisdom that's been pretty steady. How successful has that been for driving traffic to your site? Who runs that?
We have a marketing sub-team of marketing folks who focus on that, and one member of that team takes care of the blog. She organizes the rest of us to all participate in blogging so that we can keep it active and it doesn't fall only on one person's shoulders. In terms of driving traffic, I think we've been better at blogging than we have been at growing our email list. So that's something we're definitely working on in terms of, getting more subscribers to the blog and getting just more people to drive to our e-newsletter that we send out.
Yeah.
About 5 to 6 times a year. So it's just one of those things like the shoemaker's children don't have shoes. We do marketing for our clients and we often don't have time to do enough of it for ourselves.
Understood. In the beginning, how did you market your services? How did you try to get new clients?
So a lot of my clients came primarily through referrals from other clients, people who'd been satisfied with my work and said, you should really talk to her, or clients who quite honestly changed jobs and took me with them, right? But I also think a big key to my success was being very, very active in the direct marketing and Association of Fundraising Professionals associations. At the local chapter, the Direct Marketing Association of Washington, and the DC chapter of AFP. I really got involved very heavily. At one point served as president of the AFP DC chapter, and those connections and the people you meet there really have continued to be a great source of clients for us. And now we have other marketing programs besides let's go out and talk to people and referrals. I mean, we have our e-newsletter and we have our blog and we have our social media and we have our promotions that we do at conferences. But in the early days, it really was a lot of referrals of just who do you know, and making some calls to people who said, well, who might need some help with this is blah, blah, blah. And even if I didn't know them, I would just pick up the phone and call, say, hey, I heard you might need some help with this, right? So some of it is a little bit of cold calling,
Yeah, definitely. In the beginning, what was your work like? What were you doing versus now? How's that changed over the years?
That's an interesting question. Well, so in the beginning, I did everything, right? So I wrote the copy, I schmoozed the client, I sold the client, I wrote the proposal. I had a little bit of administrative support, but I really didn't have any other fundraising professionals on the team. And now I have a whole group of fundraising professionals on my team who manage accounts and consult in their own right. And so now now I do much more of the creative direction of our projects. So really helping to make sure that the quality of the creative that we're providing is top notch, and managing the company and being active with really our largest clients.
I see. Okay.
I also longer hours in the beginning when there weren't other people to help.
Yeah, you had to do everything.
The sad truth. Yeah.
Were you going out and meeting with donors to get their stories, or was that over the phone?
It's a little bit of both. For local organizations, we love to do it face to face. And we've also done a lot of phone interviews, but we love where a client is having a conference and a lot of the people that they would want us to talk to are all going to be stuck in a hotel together for a couple of days.
Yeah, perfect.
And we can go in and spend a whole afternoon just talking to 5 or 6 people and knocking it all out in one afternoon. So that's a good way to do it. But the phone is also effective, and we use it a lot. I actually interviewed Warren Buffett over the phone for one of our clients.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. He's a good guy.
Yeah. What types of client were you serving in the beginning versus now? Have you developed a sweet spot of who you go after?
Our clients in the beginning were almost exclusively on the direct marketing side, and we were doing mostly copywriting for direct mail and online and digital campaigns. And now we're doing much more broad-based consulting, the strategy around the messaging. So not just writing the copy, but helping you figure out what's the plan of when you should send different promotions and why, and how do you select your audiences. And we particularly focus in 2 areas there. One is the sort of mid-level donors, and one is plan giving. And the reason we're focusing a lot of our attention there is I think they're both places where organizations are not investing enough and leaving money on the table. And because we do messaging, and we've often been asked to do specialized messaging for those groups because they are important groups, sort of naturally evolved that we're now doing more consulting around those areas as well.
Okay. And at the beginning, you also mentioned that you split off because of a different focus for your consultancy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that some of your clients are working with you and somebody else to fill in some stuff that you don't do?
I absolutely do. I think it's the wave of the future, that there are so many tools out there now and so many areas of expertise, and the days of you can get everything you need under one roof are pretty far gone if you want to do the best work. So we're often at the table with 1 or 2 other consulting companies, and we partner with MarketSmart often, as you know, a number of things. Right now, we're in a consulting partnership for the National Geographic Society where there are 2 other vendor partners at the table, one on the digital side and one on the direct mail side, and we're bringing the plan giving and mid-level giving. So everybody's playing together to make sure that things work smoothly, and I think that's what you have to be able to do in today's world.
Okay. And do you have consultants that you partner with on a regular basis that you'd recommend to your clients? Or
yeah, we do have partners that we work with consistently. And certainly on the design front, we have a number of designers who are on speed dial here. We work quite often and very often recommend MarketSmart for the digital side of the plan giving programs we work on. And we work with a number of different capital campaign consultants when they need help with developing a case for support. And those folks have included Hazen Inc. and John Thomas Consulting and DRI Consulting and a number of other firms. When they're involved in a capital campaign and they want top-notch writing for their case for support, they turn to us and we partner with them. So partnerships are a big part of our business model.
Okay. Fantastic. As far as mentorship, is that something you sought out at the beginning to help develop your business model and, I guess, strategy?
Yes, absolutely. I remember sitting at lunch with a friend of mine when I was just in my first couple of years saying, I really feel like I need somebody to go on a retreat with, but I don't have any staff. So who am I going to go on retreat with? And she said, you need a business consultant. And I said, yes. And she said, and I know just the person. So I have been working for over 15 years with an amazing business consultant who has traveled this journey with me and who I meet with about once a month. And I always say it's my time to really focus on the business instead of focusing on the clients. It's very easy in a consultancy to just always have your head in the client work. And it's important to step back and remember your own business planning and taking time to celebrate and taking time to learn and grow and build your systems as a company as well. And we also do retreats every year, the staff, 2 days, and sometimes they're offsite at the beach and sometimes they're here in the city, but just really trying to take a couple of days off to just focus on some things that will make us better as a firm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
And I had a lot of mentors also through the associations I was involved with.
Okay. Now, if you were starting fresh, is there anything you'd change from what you did initially?
Yeah, I think if I have gotten to the point now where I've gotten some investment in the business as we've grown, and I think if I knew now what I didn't know then, I would probably go out and seek some startup capital before. I kind of knuckled it all the way through with, my credit cards and a little bit here and a little bit there.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty typical, particularly for women business owners, I've heard. But I think there's growing opportunities for people to get working capital to start. And I would have done that differently.
Were there any big mistakes during the 19 years that you learned from?
Big mistakes, I think, were about not being prepared for when a bigger client walks away.
Yeah.
As prepared as we needed to be. And we're lucky because we do a lot of project-based work in addition to retainers, so that we have quite a big client base. And it's not like we have 3 clients and one makes up 70% of our revenue. But we do have clients who make up a pretty hefty chunk of our revenue. And I think now we're much more clear about who they are and how we're anticipating their needs and thinking about how to renew them and retain them. And then we're also much more proactive when those relationships come to a close about making sure we replace them as proactively and as quickly as we can. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a big lesson for us. And like, oh, well, we lost that client. And then, whoops, wait a second. That was a really big hit.
Yeah, and you still need to pay everyone in staff. It's not just you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really proud of clients that we've worked with for 15 years out of the 19. So it's not every day that you lose a client. We have phenomenal client retention, but sometimes there's staff changes or just the client has figured out how to do it themselves and they don't want to pay for consulting anymore. And it does happen. So you just have to be well prepared for that and always be marketing. Don't just be marketing because you lost a client, but always be marketing so that the next one is there when you do lose a client.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Smart. Well, you mentioned your business model a little bit. You have a combination of retainer and projects. Can you go into what it is exactly?
Yeah, so a lot of our straight copywriting projects are done on a fee basis. That's how people are used to paying for copy. And so we charge a project fee. And there are sort of some market pressures that set those rates sometimes lower than we would like them to be. So that can range anywhere from as low as $1,000 to write an acknowledgement letter all the way up to $25,000 to write a case for support.
Okay. And in that you have the number of edits that are allowed and things of that nature?
Yes, usually up to 2 rounds of edits. And of course, sometimes we go beyond that with certain clients. And so that's how a lot of the copy work has been pricing. But increasingly, we're also looking at even on our copywriting projects being on a retainer plus copy, because that allows us to stay abreast of their issues and read their blogs and pay attention to their press releases so that when they call and say, hey, we need something, we're still up on it. So that's a model we're pursuing more and more. And then we're doing more consulting retainer contracts that are on a monthly basis and can range from as little as $3,000 or $4,000 up to $15,000. So just depending on the scope of the work and the number of people on staff who need to be involved. So those are the 2 primary sources. Then we also have audits and marketing plans that we draft for our clients, and those are priced individually as well. So it's a mix, and I think that's important. I think it's important to have a mixture of types of funding streams because it gives you more stability and more ability to react when one of your retainer clients goes away. You can just pick up more projects.
Yeah. As far as tools and services that your company uses, do you have any favorites?
Wow, you should have been in our retreat last week.
Yeah.
This is a huge topic of conversation because we are all about how can we be more efficient. I mean, we are a Mac office environment and we use a calendar and database system called Daylight, which is relational and does a lot of what we need. We've kind of come to see that it has a sort of some project management tools in it, but it's not really a project management tool. So we're currently researching and planning to implement a project management tool beginning of the new year. We're sort of doing our research now and thinking about which one would be a good tool for us. And then we do use the Microsoft Office suite every day from Excel to PowerPoint. And we also use some time tracking software, which I can't think of the name right now, but it, so that we can track our time spent on projects, which is really helpful. Obviously, a lot of the video conferencing and we, whether it's Skype or GoToMeeting and sharing files Part of the challenge, I think, in consulting when you're a small shop and you don't have one person totally dedicated to tools and technology is that your clients use all different kinds of tools from Basecamp to Dropbox, all of these different things. And you have
and you're expected to tie into whatever they're using. They don't fit your
tie into that, and so then you have to be using 4 or 5 of them sometimes. So that's a little bit of a tricky piece, and we just try to navigate it as best we can, because I do think some of these tools can really save us a lot of time. One of the things that sets us apart from a lot of our competitors is that we don't do cookie cutter brochures. We don't send you a brochure with your name and logo slapped on it and say that's good enough. We do very mission centric, fully customized writing pieces for all of our clients. So what we realized is that we're also doing that with some of our systems, just redoing the same agenda over and over, or the same port outline.
Yeah.
And so we're working on some of our internal tools to be more templated so that we can copy and paste over and say, okay, here's the agenda for that meeting. It's going to be just like the meeting we had 3 weeks ago with so-and-so.
Yeah, just different
details.
Yeah.
So we're getting more organized. We're creative folks, right? We're a creative agency, so we love to create things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, creating different workflows can be fun too.
Yeah, but creating things, the same thing over and over again is not really a smart way to do business.
Not at all, yeah.
We're trying to rein in our creativity a little bit.
Very good. Yeah, that's. I'm always interested in tools and what people use to get their job done. When we return, a quick lightning round with Kathy. First, a quick break where you learn how to access a free copywriting ebook from us here at MarketSmart. You've heard Kathy talk about the importance of copywriting and being a good writer. Well, today you can get a free copy of an ebook all about copywriting. Download your copy by going to imarketsmart.com/copywriting. That's www.imarketsmart.com/copywriting. In this free ebook, you'll learn some fundamentals and important tips to improve your copywriting skills. Visit imarketsmart.com/copywriting to download your copy. That's www.imarketsmart.com/copywriting. With that, let's get to the lightning round with Kathy. What's the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Get a business consultant.
What piece of advice would you have for yourself as a 25-year-old?
Ask people to invest in you.
What book would you recommend to those getting started?
Good to Great.
Do you have a favorite personal productivity habit?
When I'm writing, I close my emails, so I'm not getting pinged, so I don't see them. And then I also do a lot of phone call returning while I'm driving.
Okay. Do you have a favorite under $100 purchase you've made in the last month or so?
We have a sofa area in our office that makes it sort of more casual where you can go. And we are about to purchase some new, very colorful pillows and a throw for it, so it's more festive. So that's kind of fun.
Do you have a favorite monthly service or subscription?
Hootsuite.
What's an interesting or fun fact about you that most people don't know?
I've been arrested 3 times doing civil disobedience.
Yeah, gotta love getting arrested for...
Yeah, good for good cause.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
What's one of your most important passions outside of work?
I'm a huge WNBA fan, as I like to support the professional women athletes. My personal issue that I'm very, very passionate about these days that I'm doing some work outside the office on is criminal justice reform.
Okay. If you had to clean your desk or car first, which would it be?
My desk.
And tea or coffee?
Coffee. Lots of coffee.
What do clients never ask you that you wish they did?
I wish they would ask me if there are things they're not doing that could make them more successful.
What's the most common error you see nonprofits make, and how can they avoid doing that?
Underinvesting in staff and communications and marketing.
And the best nonprofits, what are they doing right?
Best nonprofits are breaking down silos and investing in marketing and branding so that their people are more receptive to their fundraising messages because they've built awareness.
Mm-hmm. And what charities do you admire or support? Your clients are, of course.
Yes. Well, it's hard. It's a hard question for me because yes, of course, all of my clients, some in particular that I support are NAACP for their criminal justice reform work, Brady campaign to prevent gun violence, and my church.
Excellent. And where can people find more information about your consultancy?
So we have a fabulous website at impactdc.com, and there you'll see a video where you can learn more about what we do, as well as some of our samples of our work and meet some of our staff, and you can contact us through that. Or if you really like to, sign up for our e-newsletter. I promise it's not kind of bombard you, and we put a lot of useful tips in our e-newsletter for our clients and friends.
Great. Thank you so much, Kathy. Once again, that's impactdc.com. Thanks for listening to this episode of How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy, presented by MarketSmart. If you like the show, make sure to review it on iTunes and pass it along to a friend or colleague. If you are curious about what we do, make sure to check out imarketsmart.com, and don't forget to download your copy of our free copywriting ebook by going to www.imarketsmart.com/copywriting. Thanks for listening.